Well, good morning, everyone. It's been an interesting week to say the least. An emotional week, a controversial week, I would say. Still, in many ways, it kind of continues to be. But as y'all probably heard for about the billionth time. Of course, I think just about everybody knows what's going down, what happened. With Blitzchung and Blizzard banning him after he openly spoke about Hong Kong liberation on at the end of their Grandmaster tournament and everything, and the controversy that fell after that of them banning him at first for an entire year and removing his winnings and revoking his Grandmaster status. Since then, they have they have, I wouldn't say backpedaled. They lowered his banning to 6 months, which, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, quite frankly, the guy should have never been banned in the first place. So, but they did say that they will give him his winnings, which, in my view, that was just like, it was a thing to kind of make everybody shut up about it and whatnot. But the thing is, I'd still say that the whole thing was a complete and total overreaction on Blizzard's part. I really do. I think they overreacted. I think they had no business dropping a nuke on this guy like they did. And I'm sorry. The reason they did it wasn't for any moral reason. I've seen people say that it was for altruistic reasons to protect employees, which, I'm sorry, but given Blizzard's history with how they treat employees, I don't buy that for 1 minute. I don't buy that for 1 minute. I think it's a lazy explanation. I think it's an excusing one. I think it's a way to apologize for them, and I'm sorry. I don't buy that reasoning at all. I really don't. Like I said, given their history with how they treat employees, why should I believe that, But, and then, of course, people say, well, he broke the rules. Sure, okay. And he got what he deserved. And to that I say, okay, fine. And to my response to that, it's, well, if he got what he deserved for breaking the rules, then why weren't the players from American University, why weren't they banned when they did the same thing? They held up a sign that said, "Free Hong Kong, boycott Blizz." And they did it on Blizzard's time. They did it at a Blizzard tournament, okay? Because collegiate tournaments and all of that, they all fall under the same guidelines, code of conduct, terms of all of that, because it was a Blizzard sanctioned tournament, okay? It still falls under the same category of rules. They received no punishment. In fact, they were, told what their next match was going to be, and they forfeited because they said and felt that it would be hypocritical of them to not ban them, but still Blitzchung is banned. So, to people saying he got what he deserved for breaking the rules, I'm sorry. Well, then, if he got what he deserved, then why weren't they banned? But, that is what it is. So, a couple of days have passed now, and Blitzchung has finally made a statement. So, what he says is rather interesting. It really is. And so it starts right here. Thank you for your attention in the past 1 week. This is a personal statement in my view on Blizzard's latest decision. First of all, I'm grateful for Blizzard reconsidering their position on my ban. Okay. Earlier this week, I told media that I knew I might have penalty or consequence for my action because I understand that my act could take the conversation away from the purpose of the event. See? And like I said, like I've said many times now, he's a grown-ass man. He knew what he was doing. In the future, I will be more careful on that and express my opinions or show my support to Hong Kong on my personal platforms. That's a very respectful thing to say. And again, like I said, Blizzard's reaction to this, to me, was nuclear, and it was an overreaction. Like, I'm sorry, this should have been, at most, I still don't agree with the fact that he's banned still, even though it is 6 months. I'm sorry, that's still 6 months. That's half a year, y'all. And I'm sorry, it was an overreaction. This should have been a private conversation of, hey, man, listen, We really don't want politics or anything like that talked about at our events. Can you please just keep it to your personal stuff? This should have been a slap on the wrist at most, guys. I'm sorry. It should have been. This was an overreaction. But that was very respectful of him to say that. Many people, he continues, many people have been asking me if I accept the latest decision of Blizzard. I will discuss that on 2 parts. Tournament prizing and suspension. For tournament prizing, I quoted what Blizzard said on their official website. They mentioned that I played fair in the tournament and they believe I should receive my prizing. Now, Blizzard's statement, on the other hand, the other day, I'm sorry. It wasn't an apology. It was basically and it wasn't even directed at gamers. It was directed at the Chinese government and to just basically tell everybody to shut up, basically. So this is the part I really appreciate. Blizzard also said they understand for some of this is not about the prize, but perhaps for others it is disrespectful to even discuss it. People from Blizzard have explained this to me through a phone call, and I really appreciate that, and I accept their decision of this part. Again, that's very noble of him to do so, even though, like I said, Blizzard's statement was very strangely dropped on October the 12th, which was Saturday's date, on a Friday, which, yeah, it's very suspicious. It's very weird that it was dropped on like that, which makes it look like it was dropped from China. Because again, if you look at the statement that Blizzard made, this wasn't for us. This wasn't for us. This was for shareholders. This was for senators. This was for government officials, the Chinese government. Because I'm sorry, if you go back and look at that, y'all, the response is just weird. It's just weird. Okay, it's look, we're giving him his prize money back. Everybody, shut the hell up now. It's just weird. Okay, and you can leave that up to your own interpretation, but I'm sorry, it was just weird. It really was. For second part about the suspension, Blizzard had changed their suspension on me from a year to 6 months. Once again, I appreciate for their reconsideration on this. To be honest, I think 6 months is still quite a lot to me. It is. And like I said, he shouldn't have been banned in the first place. But I'm also being told that I can continue to compete in the Hearthstone Pro Circuit, which they mean the Grandmaster Tournament. That's great. I appreciate for this decision they made because Grandmaster is currently the highest level tournament in competitive Hearthstone. However, I wish Blizzard can reconsider about their penalty for the 2 casters involved. And that I absolutely agree on. Those 2 casters, even though, yes, they were there when it happened, they didn't know what was going to happen, y'all. And some people said, oh, they knew, they were in on it. And I'm like, there's been nothing to prove that they were in on it, okay? There's been nothing to prove that they were in on it. There's been nothing to prove that they weren't in on it. So quite frankly, I think those 2 casters being fired, suspended, whatever their punishment is at this point, like, I'm sorry, they shouldn't have been punished for what they did. That wasn't their fault, and I know they probably were pissed that they didn't try to get things back on track. But at the same time, I'm like, guys, this wasn't their fault. So, yeah, alongside Blitz, like I said, Blitz shouldn't have been banned. But I'm sorry, these 2 guys should not have faced any punishment. This wasn't their fault. It really, truly wasn't. And you can't change my mind on that one. Lastly, many people want to know if I would be competing in Hearthstone in the future. Honestly, I have no idea on that yet, since my next tournament is very likely to be the Grandmaster Tournament of next season. It's probably at least a few months from now on. I will take this time to relax myself to decide if I'm staying in competitive Hearthstone scene or not. Hearthstone, here, let me highlight this real quick. Hearthstone changed the way I live. I really love this community. Blessings to all the players out there and blessings to Blizzard. Again, very respectful. Very noble, and I'm sorry for even with what he did. He knew he was going to be breaking the rules, and I still say it was very brave of him to be so passionate ballsy to do what he did. And some people won't agree with it, especially people over here in the United States that have such a privilege to be able to speak about just about anything they want, whenever they want, however they want. Well, with just about, and that is something that I still believe is taken for granted. Guys, we have such a privilege over here. We can say literally just about anything we want and face little to no repercussion for it. I'm sorry. And it's true. And the people that say, well, he should not have brought politics into it. And you know what? Maybe not. But I look at it as he saw an opportunity to speak his personal beliefs about his homeland that is facing persecution from a communist regime. And none of us could understand, none of us that don't live in that reality, well, of course we'll never understand. Any of us that have never faced oppression like this, we could never understand. All we can do is, try to understand and sympathize if you so choose to, or like some people, and just go about your life and pretend it doesn't affect you. And if you do, that's your business, that's your privilege. And that's the entire point I've been trying to make about this. Is again, this has to do with privilege, and the fact that they don't have the privilege we do. The fact that it has been hypocrisy on Blizzard's part, because again, if anyone saying that he got what he deserved, okay. Well, if he got what he deserved and he deserved to be banned for breaking the rules, then why weren't the American university students who were under a Blizzard-sanctioned event, who still fall under the same rules and guidelines, why weren't they banned? Just because Blitzchung signed a contract prior, that doesn't exclude people that compete in Blizzard events. That doesn't exclude them from the rules. Okay? And you can look this up. It is there for you in broad daylight. The rules are still the same no matter the Blizzard sanctioned event. This happened on Blizzard's channel. This happened on Blizzard's time. This happened at Blizzard's event. Both instances happened on their time. So I'm sorry. The excuse of, well, he broke the rules, he got what he deserved. I'm sorry. That's a hollow defense in my point, and in my view, I should say. It's a hollow defense, and it doesn't hold merit, in my opinion. It really does not hold merit, and I'm sorry. It's hypocrisy on Blizzard's part, and again, like I've said, this whole thing was a complete and total overreaction on Blizzard's part. A complete and total overreaction. And they didn't do it for altruistic reasons. I've seen people saying they were trying to protect Blizzard employees. And like I said, given Blizzard's history with how they treat employees, I don't buy that for 1 minute. They didn't do this for altruistic reasons. They did it because, guys, I'm sorry. They did it because they don't want to lose that precious Chinese money, because there is so much of it to be made. Y'all, if it wasn't obvious from their Diablo Immortal announcement last year, it should be obvious now. They want to be in that Chinese mobile market. They want it so bad they can taste it. Okay? And it's right there. It is right on the cusp of it, and they want it so bad, and they don't want the deal to blow up. I'm sorry. That's the reason, guys. That's the reason. My whole discussion wasn't about Google. It wasn't about, anything else. It was about Blizzard, okay? And you might think that's a selfish argument, and again, that's your privilege, But a lot of it has to do with the fact, with me and many other people, that this was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. It has certainly felt like one thing after another with Blizzard, with Diablo Immortal, to a terrible release with Battle for Azeroth, to unfortunately it looking like it was actually about to start to get good in 8.3. Though to that I say, why does it take World of Warcraft expansions lately? Why does it always take them a damn year to finally start getting it good? You may feel differently. That's fine. That's your privilege. To a botched release with that, to this, firing 800 employees, even though they had record-setting revenue and everything. And it's funny because, and it's so funny. It's such an interesting parallel, because when the Diablo Immortal announcement was made, 99.9% of people were against this. They said, this was stupid, Blizzard. What is wrong with you? When they fired 800 employees, 99.9% of people, because there's always going to be that 0.1%. Let's just be honest. 99.9% of people were against them for this, saying this is terrible of Blizzard. You guys made record-setting revenue and you still fired these people, And everybody was in an uprage about it, and a lot of people are still not over it. I mean, because, again, it affected people's livelihood. Well, this affected a dude's livelihood. I'm sorry. Am I glad they gave him his money? Yes. Do I think they did it to apologize? No. They're not apologizing, guys. Blizzard is not apologizing, and they're not going to apologize. They're not going to, okay? Does this guy deserve to be banned? No. This was a slap. This should have been a slap on the wrist at most. Because, again, if he should have gotten what he deserved for breaking the rules, why didn't American University face the same repercussions? Why? Because they're American. Because they're American, guys. China doesn't care what happens with things over here. They don't care about that. But if it's something that directly impacts them, of course they care. It comes down to money. If you feel, during all this, if you felt like, man, I don't agree with this, but you know what, I still love my Blizzard games, I have said from the get-go, hey, that's fine. I don't hold it against you, and I don't think anybody should. You do you. I've told several people, man, you do you. I simply said while this kid was banned, and that is what I said. While this kid was banned, I simply cannot. They gave him his prize money. He's still able to compete in the pro circuit, which does inevitably mean Grandmasters. He still is up in the air on whether he's going to do Hearthstone or not. I don't know. Does this mean that I'm going to go back to, playing Blizzard games? It's an I don't know at this point. I don't know. BlizzCon is definitely going to be interesting this year. Because I'm sorry, Blizzard is pooping themselves right now. They are pooping themselves right now. I mean, we're 2.5 weeks away, from BlizzCon. They are pooping themselves right now. And I would not be surprised if they don't have any Q&A with the fans. I would not be surprised if they're going to be double on their security for people's costumes. I would not be surprised. I really would not be surprised. So, now that he has accepted his prize money and he has accepted these terms and everything else, does this mean, like I said, does it mean I'm going to go back to playing World of Warcraft and Diablo? All I can say is, as of this moment, I don't know. If and when I do decide to do it, I don't know. I'm sure some people will call me a shill, hypocrite, and to those people I say, if you're that upset about it, bless your heart. Okay, maybe you need to go get some real problems. But again, but at the end of the day, guys, I meant what I said and I said what I meant, and I'm not apologizing for it, and I won't back off from it either. I won't take it back. Some people have told me to take it back. I won't take it back. I'm not taking back what I said. I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. Okay? Either way, those are my thoughts. So if you liked the video, give it a like. You follow me on Twitter, follow me on Twitch for live streams. And even with everything that's happened, I still genuinely wish you all a wonderful day. And I hope you have a happy day in some way. Make it a happy day in some way. But either way, I appreciate your views, your time, and I just appreciate you. So thank you. Have a wonderful day. And of course, you stay shway, baby. See you later.